Public speaking is becoming very important in society today. Everybody needs to know how to do it. It's very prominent. Everyone has to do it at some point in their life. Typically, uh, by taking a public speaking course, you are able to better your listening skills as well as your speaking skills. Um, the only experience I really had with this before this class was a high school class I took. In that class, nerves usually got the best of me. I would become I'd stutter quite a bit. Face would get very red. I would just lose my train of thought a lot. Um, but as in this class, I showed I had potential to be a little bit better. I kept getting better and better every speech. I felt like during my informal speech, I felt like I did okay job. I read off my note cards quite a bit. I didn't really look up and address the audience like I should have. I didn't do many gestures. Um, but other than that, I feel like I had good content, and I seemed somewhat confident in myself. I didn't stutter. I didn't feel like I got red in the face as much as I used to in high school. And then once I got to my persuasive speech, I felt like I did a lot better. I feel like I covered everything I needed to cover. I did everything I needed to do. I looked up a little bit. I still wrote my note cards quite a bit, mainly because of lack of preparation. Because of baseball, I didn't have the time to memorize my speech as much as some people might have. So I had to read off my note cards quite a bit. But I felt like I got more comfortable up in front of everybody. I didn't have as many nerves. I felt like I just did a better job overall speaking. The skill I feel most comfortable with, most confident with, is probably how fluidly I speak. I usually talk in a very good tone. I don't really mumble or anything, and it seems like my words just kind of flow out. I don't like stutter. I don't do anything like that. So I feel like I'm very comfortable with how well and how fluidly I am able to speak. Um, this may help me in the future whenever I get a job or something. Um, so if I would go to get to my boss, when he had asked me something, I would be able to like answer confidently. I wouldn't be like talking down at the ground. I'd be able to look him in the eyes and talk to him. I just feel I feel comfortable when I can talk to people one on one, and I can talk fluidly with him, which would help him have confidence in me to have myself do a project for him. Um, Audience analysis. It's very important in speaking for speeches. When you're able to do an audience-centered speech, you can really get a feel for what the audience is looking for. Uh, if you don't get to do audience analysis, then you don't really know like what the audience wants. It really can influence your speech because you might want to do one topic, but your audience won't want it. So you have to pick a completely different topic in order to fit what the audience is looking for in a speech. Because you don't want to go do something that this audience doesn't want. But if you do something the audience doesn't want, then they're not going to pay attention. You could lose the audience, and your speech could be a complete disaster. Um, in my persuasive topic, I actually was going to do a different topic, but then once we did the questionnaire, I decided that using PEDs would be a better choice because many people were interested in sports or interested in PEDs, and it really forced me to get out of my comfort zone because I was not prepared to do that. I just wanted to do a different topic, but I felt like I adjusted well and was able to perform better than I anticipated I'd be able to, just because I had to focus on the information a lot better, and uh, then just yeah, this influenced my life later in life because say if you're going to write a paper, you want to know what your audience wants to read about. You don't want to write about something completely random that no one's going to read. You want something that people can relate to or all get involved with, something like that. For effective learning skills, uh, listening skills, not learning, that influenced me when I was listening to the puppy mill speech. I felt like I got very into that one because it was something I could relate to. I'm a dog person, so I was able to really get involved with it and feel like I could connect to it a lot more, as well as a time management speech as well because I'm not very good at time management. So I felt like if I listened to a speech closer, I could definitely learn something and use it and apply it to my life to make myself better. Uh, People learn from listening, not speaking, which makes listening very important. So you have to be good at listening in order to become a good speaker. when you can listen to someone and actually learn from it, it helps you in every aspect of life. Because, I mean, if you're not listening, you're not going to learn anything. You're not going to hear anything. If you're in an office meeting with your boss or something, and he's telling you what to do, and you're not paying any attention, then I mean, he's not going to rely on you because he sees you're not listening. There's a lot of ways to help be an effective listener, such as avoiding distractions, avoiding personal conflicts, anything that you have going on in your life. You have to get rid of that, focus on what the speaker's saying in order to become better. Because if you're sitting there spacing out, not paying any attention, then or thinking about what you're going to do later that day, you're not listening to what he's saying. You're not learning. You're not doing what you need to do to be a good listener and learn from the speech. For developing ideas, it is important to have credible sources. If you have a speech that has sources from random websites or random books that no one knows about or no one trusts because they could have false information done by someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, then your speech could have terrible information. Your audience would not be involved. They would be doubting everything you're saying. So it's important to have websites that end in .org or .gov in order to avoid any of those problems that may occur. In my persuasive speech, I made sure I got all the websites that say .org, .gov, all that kind of stuff, just to avoid any conflicts that may occur. I would make sure I had good information so that I could get people to believe what I was saying and follow what I was saying in order to persuade them to believe that PEDs are good later in sports and that they're not as harmful as people may think. And I felt like by using information from .org or .gov websites, I was able to do that versus if I was going to use a .com that anybody could have came up with and it's not regulated in any way. So just by doing that, you can get your audience to buy into what you're saying and really have a feel for it. And maybe I even change their mind about an opinion just because of the good sources that you use and bring up. In conclusion, public speaking is a great asset to know. It helps with everyday lives. You use it more than you think because, I mean, if you're going to be someone's best man, you got to know how to talk in front of everybody. If you're going to have to convince somebody just how to do something, you're going to have to give them a speech, basically. It might be one-on-one, might be in front of a bunch of people, but either way, it's basically a speech. So you use public speaking a lot more than what you might think. You will become a more confident speaker as well as a more effective listener by learning more about public speaking because you're forced to both be a speaker and a listener when you listen to people's speeches and versus when you're actually talking. You don't want people spacing out during your speech, so it's important to listen and be a good speaker. So these skills are used all the time. People may not think about how much they're used and how much they affect their lives, but realistically, public speaking is one of the best skills you can get to know, and it's important for every single person to be able to be a decent public speaker at least.